Bon dia! Morning! Welcome to this week's video. As you can see, I'm just going to plant some things out. I'm just putting some garden peas in. I'm just going to do half a bed and I'm going to make a frame later, but at the moment we're just popping one or two bits, one or two in, and in another month we'll do another row as well. So just popping them in the, whoops, missed one. And have to in that one just in case. I'm going to carry on right up the bed. I'm just using a bit of stick, about 5 centimetres apart and 2 deep, it says on the packet, so give it a whirl and then I'll give them a good water in. Also on this week's video, Debbie does another recipe and I do a bit of work in the adega, so come along and see what we do after we've done this job.
These little propagators this week. I think there's 4 sets with the lids, which I thought might be quite handy because we don't have a greenhouse yet. So I'll show you what I've planted. I've done 2 rows of the cucumbers, 1 row of the shads, put some jalapenos in and some parsley and basil. I'm also going to put the parsley and the basil in the raised beds because as you probably know, with them having certainly the basil having quite an aromatic smell, it does keep off some of the bugs, and the same goes for rosemary. So I'm just going to add a little bit more compost just to cover the tops and make sure the seeds are covered properly. There's already some water in there, and then we'll put them out into the sunshine. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but I've marked on the inside of the propagator lid with A, B, C, D, E, F for each row, and then on the back of the seeds, that's upside down, sorry, I've marked what's gone into which column because I didn't have any of the little markers. So we'll just pop the lid on that now. Pop it out into the sunshine to get warm, and I'll keep you posted on what happens.
Well dear, this morning I'm back in the adega. I'm trying to clear the floor out. Sorry if the light's a little bit poor in here. The builders took all the electrics out as the built up and never replaced it, but we do have an electrician who's going to come back and sort all this out at some point. That'll be when he does Ellie Rosie's house as well. We've got some more electric points to put in there, so but we need walls and things down, so we need to clear places to put things in, so this is what I'm doing in the Adega. I'll just give you a quick run round and show you what I'm doing. So we've still got quite a lot of roof tiles in here, the old clay tiles, which I have a stack of at the other side of the garden, so I'm going to move them there. Then we've got quite a lot of stone. I've moved most of the wood and other bits out, but there is still some wood at the back. I'll work my way to that. A few odd blocks and bits and bobs of rubble, and a pile of soil or something down there. It is quite high at this end compared to the other end, so I don't know whether it's all rubble, it's soil or what. So we've got about probably a good 1.5 foot higher at the back wall than we have at the step behind the barrow. As I say, the lighting's not good, so I won't film too much in here, but yeah, we're just going to get on and move all of this. I'll show you what it looks like when we've got it done. I don't think it'll be a one-day job, so I'll show you after day 1 and maybe a bit more of day 2 or 3 or 4. So I'm sorting some of this stuff out as we go. This is cement with tiles and all sorts in it. I've taken a couple of barrow loads of just flat shit, like this sort of thing. They're all going to go to doing the little wall I'm building, and maybe another project what I've got in mind. Yeah, I mean there's still blocks and things like that. Most of the half round tiles, the old clay tiles, I've taken out, but there is still bits kicking about. I know people are going to say, why don't you leave a lot of this and use it as hardcore? One of the reasons is, as I say, this end is a good foot, maybe 1.5 foot higher than the door. So if I start to laying a concrete floor here, it's obviously going to be higher than the door when I get to the other end, unless it has a great slope on it, which I don't want. More or less the side of the vats are they? Big square concrete tanks anyway, what are in the corner. That's as low as the door area by the look of it, or very close, which is where I've got rid of a lot of material from. Even though I've got the tiles out of this area, it's still quite high. There's some metal behind it, wood still to move, but I'm slowly working my way up to it. There's bits of sacking and all sorts in the floor, so yeah. But that's the reason why I'm pulling it out and not just sort of trying to level it at the moment. When I get closer, and if I think I've enough space, then I'll start to level it so that I can concrete on it at some point, because I do want this room usable. It'll do as a little workshop or whatever, and it's also going to be my test for doing a concrete floor, because I've never done one before, so that should be interesting. So as you see, I'm getting quite a way back with all the muck. Like I said, it is a good foot down, I suppose. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on and see how much more I can get shifted. I am still separating the stone, rubble and the sort of loose soil, hay, straw, whatever else is mixed in with it, the wood and everything else that I can separate out. Some of it will get used, some of them will get, when I get it levelled down, I'll get brought back in here and used as hardcore. So yeah, it seems a bit daft moving it, but I've got to get it somewhere so I can get it level. So I don't know what this is. I've just found under some of this rubble. It seems to have some sort of swivel on it. If anybody's got any ideas, please let us know below. So that's it for this morning. It's starting to get hot now, and I want to rig up some better lights. I also haven't got a light in my till room anymore, and I've just found the wire which goes to my tool room, and although there's no wiring in here, what I'm thinking of doing is putting a bulb holder just dangling off the wall, with a wire running connecting to my tool room with a plug on it, and then I can plug it into my extension and have lights in here and my tool room, because some points I do need to keep going into my tool room for bits and bobs. It'd just be handy to have somewhere where I can turn the lights on. I ain't bothered about them all coming on at once, it won't be left on. It's just, I'll get my extension out, light it up when I'm doing bigger jobs. When I ain't doing big jobs, I'll just use the torch as I have been doing.
Our resident cat. She's next doors, really. She's always lived in our bounds. We've never stopped her because she pays her rent. She catches the mice and things like that for us. We've never actually seen any mice. She's getting quite old now. She's deaf and she's blind. No, not very good sighted, let's say. But she still does her job, God love her. Just enjoying her snooze.
So as you can see, it's a little brighter in here now. I've just messed about and made like an extension light, but while I was at it I thought while I've got the other wires connected, or I've found the other wires, I can connect them into the same plug, which is a bit of an hodgepodge. I know my electrician will slap my hands when he comes, but as a temporary it's okay. And this gives me lights in my tool room, which are now on a switch, and also to the van, which I don't think we'll ever need, but it may as well be there if I come out with it when it's dark one night and I need to do something. At least I can get on and do a little bit. So yeah, it's a bit of an hodgepodge as I say, but it'll do the job for now. And at least I can get on with the rest of the job tomorrow. So I'm back to clearing in the Adega again. I've been doing a bit this morning. I'm starting to pile some of the stone to one side and the broken roof tiles to one side as well. These will break down and go in the floor probably. And so will some of the smaller bits, but it's very difficult to separate all of it, so what I'm doing is getting the biggest bits out, taking all this lot to the rubbish pile, and then when we get rid of all the pile of rubble, some of it will separate out on its own anyway, and so we're going to do the driving some of this rubble as well, so it'll just stay where it is and rake in. And if I need to take the floor level down any further, which it looks like I might have to do because it's very uneven, some of the better soil you can see there, if I can separate some of that, it'll go in the raised beds. So that's the end of day 2 for me in the Adega. I've moved quite a lot of stone about and some soil. Sorry about the lighting, it's a bit poor in here because, as you know, I've just fitted a bulb temporary. Yeah, I'll just show you around what I've done. So I've pulled the stone out about 1.5 meters from the back wall, more or less to the line of this pile of rubble, stone, whatever you want to call it. Right across. I've piled a load of, sorry about the shadows, piled a load of tiles, broken tiles in the corner. They'll go back into the floor when we've levelled it. We'll probably need a lot more and probably use some of the stuff what I've already moved, but that's the way it is. I need to get some out before I can start doing anything. I've dug out a couple of foot at the back. Mainly it looked like quite good soil, and I found a couple of big stones and I wanted to know whether it was a wall for a trough. So there's one still in there and one I've got stood up against the wall. Sorry for the shadow again. But more or less I've got it cleared at the back half. The stone I'll either move out or move round when I come to do anything in here. Not sure what I'm doing with that at the moment, but we have a pile of stone in the other barn which we're going to stack outside, so this will probably go with that. A lot of the problem digging's been all the wood under it. As you stick a spade under it in one point, you know, you're lifting a load up and you don't know what it is, whether it's a big stone or whatever, and it's wood. So I'm going to take that out and get it burned. I haven't cleared in that corner yet where the chimney is and down this wall, but there weren't a great deal there, to be honest. I'd cleared some of that before so we could get into the vats, and then there's just bits of rubbish kicking about, so I'll slowly get through that tomorrow. The wood will get burnt because it's all rotten. Yeah, then we'll think about what we're going to do for a level. I don't think we're going to be concreting it straight away. We've got some other jobs on as well, so this is really just a start job to see where we're going and to get more rubble on our rubble pile, because we might be getting rid of it soon, I hope. A lot of the soil what's come out of the back of the barn has gone in this raised bed. Looks quite good. I think it will be reasonable. I think a lot of it's been, like, if it has been a trough, it'll be animal feed and stuff like that what's just sunk down and rotted, mixed in with some of the soil and what have you, because there is some straw and what have you in with it. So hopefully that's what that'll be, and hopefully it'll be good stuff. And then the rest of the muck's just gone on my muck pile. As I say, I think a lot of this stone will fall to the bottom, wash out, whatever, as we take the rest of the pile down, which we will be doing at some point soon, I hope. And then the smaller bits will just stay in the ground as hardcore, because we're going to probably do something like that down the main of the drive anyway. Probably that end will be sort of rubbly end, and the top end where we drive on we'll probably use the clay tiles because they break and they're not sharp when they break. So, and then from the corner of the raised bed across to this wall we're going to put some granite posts, what we've got, and re-britter all this lot. So as you can probably see, that's most of the Adega cleared. I do have a pile of stones under this board. That board's got to go as well. And I'm just going to skim over this bit, drag all that rubble off, and that in front of the door. I've got a pile of tiles for hardcore there, and I've got some stone there to move as well out of here. But that's all we're going to do for now. As you can see, the floor's pretty uneven, so we'll probably skim it off, skim some of this soil off, probably hardcore it and concrete it, but that won't be while later on in the year. So that's where we're going to end this bit for now.
Annie's turn. Annie. No, you're not having the other one, that's Mabel's. So this week's recipe, I'm just going to make some really easy cheese scones. I've doubled the recipe because Steve and Ellie Rose go through them like there's no tomorrow. So I've got 12 ounces of self-raising flour. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. Plenty of pepper, you can put some mustard powder in if you want to as well, but Steve doesn't like it with mustard powder in. I've got 2 ounces of margarine, and I'm going to first of all put that in the mixer to get all that resembling breadcrumbs. So that's the flour and margarine, salt and pepper mixed to resemble breadcrumbs. I've got 6 ounces of cheese. You can use any cheese. Depends what flavour you want. I'm just reserving a little bit so that I can put it on the tops of the scones. I'm just going to mix that in by hand. Get the cheese well coated. And then in here I've got 5 tablespoons of milk and 2 eggs. And I'm just going to pour that in. Just give that a stir around. The mixture doesn't want to be too dry, otherwise they come out kind of, you know, not very moist. And I think this is going to be too dry. So I'm just going to add some more milk to that. Because it can depend on the size of your eggs as well. I still think that's a little dry. I'm doing it gradually because I don't want to make it too wet, because then it'll spread. And it goes on the tin. So next thing I'm going to do is flour the surface. Make sure my hands are well floured. I don't ever use a rolling pin making scones. You knock out all of the air and they won't rise as much. So just gently flatten it down. I'm just going to use a medium tart cutter. I think they could do with being a little bit. That's better. Just pop those on there. I'm just going to run a little bit of flour on the inside just to stop it from sticking. I got this recipe from an old lady who used to live in the village where we lived in England. She was about 80 years old when she gave it to me, and I was about 30 at the time. And she used to work at the big hall as a servant when she was younger. And she said the idea is to try not to mix it, you know, with your hands, handle it as little as possible. Okay. So I'm sure the Lord and Lady of the Manor enjoyed these because she was a marvellous cook, was Mrs. Head. So I've just done the egg wash as you saw me, and then this will just help to stick the cheese to the top. And these will go in the oven at about 225, so quite a hot oven. And depending on your oven, they should take somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes to cook. So we'll just pop those in the oven. So that's those out of the oven. Yep. Just pop those onto a cooling tray. And no doubt in about 10 minutes time Steve will want to try one. And they're too hot, Steve. So we'll let those cool about 10 minutes and then we'll pop a little bit of butter on them. Just pop that one on there, that will cool on there. And that's those done. Oh, look at that. Oops.
So that's another day over. End of this video. Thanks for watching. I've just got cleaned up and I'm gonna sit and have a cup of tea and a nice cheese scone out in the sun. So thanks for watching. Bye. See you next week.